Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to a brand new series. Now, this is going to be called Seldom Seen series. This is going to be me and the Horror Man, and we're going to be talking about sequels and remakes and some other films that really don't get talked about. Maybe hidden gems that we even haven't seen. Maybe some criminally underrated movies. This is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to approach these a little bit different. We're not going to say a whole lot about each film as far as the synopsis goes, but try to encourage people to maybe see these films. The first one we're going to be starting with is Stir of Echoes 2, The Homecoming. Now, when I originally found this at a thrift store, I really didn't even know it existed. I was familiar with the first Stir of Echoes. That, of course, had Kevin Bacon in it, and I really liked that film. As a matter of fact, the Horror Man and myself covered it for the Fangoria Movie Challenge, and it was really good to see it again. And I remember talking to Joe and saying, I have the second one, but I've never seen it. And he kind of, not that he was puzzled, he had forgot that they released the second one because no one ever talks about it. And I told him that I put it on one time, but I either had to go somewhere or I just felt like watching something different. So sometimes I get like that. I'll put on a DVD and be like, nah, I don't feel like watching that, and just change it out for something else for no rhyme or reason. And that's what happened with this one time. So I'm really glad we were able to watch this for the series. Before I found it at the thrift store, as I said, I didn't even know this movie existed. And the funny part about this film is that it feels very much like the first film with Kevin Bacon. Similar type of story, even though the main parts are different, but it had that what's the word I'm looking for? It had that certain thrilling scenes where in the first one, of course, it was Kevin Bacon, and this one is Rob Lowe, but he would see visions which led him to uncover exactly what was happening. So it had that feel, and it also had the feel of a small neighborhood, um, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, this is a TV movie, probably cable because there is some foul language. I don't remember if there was any nudity. I don't think there was. Some violence, some pretty good practical effects, to be honest. And maybe that was why it got overlooked because it was a made for TV film. Because I know that the original Star of Echoes was pretty popular when it came out. So, let's talk about Star of Echoes 2, The Homecoming. Now, this one, of course, as you saw from the cover, stars Rob Lowe. And this is a different type of story than what was in the first one, although it feels very similar in some aspects. You have a guy who, and I'm going to be very vague because I think people should see this. It's, in my opinion, it's a hidden gem, and I think I speak for Joe too that this is a definitely a hidden gem. So you have a guy who's in Iraq, and something bad happens, which injures him to the point where he almost dies. He was in a coma, and his family actually didn't think he would ever come out of it. And if he did, he would probably be a vegetable. But he made a recovery. And this accident has been haunting him ever since the war. So he goes back to his family, and he starts seeing these very odd things that he's not really sure if they're there or if they're not there. And it kind of has to do with the war, but it kind of has to do with something else as well, which is how this feels so much like the first Stir of Echoes, because it's putting together a mystery little by little. And that's one part about this movie that I really liked. Another part is Rob Lowe's acting. I know he kind of got pigeonholed as being the pretty boy in the Brat Pack, but seeing him in this and seeing him in Parks and Rec and some other movies that I've seen him in over the years, he can actually really act. It's not just the whole pretty boy thing, and that's why he got jobs. He really is a talented actor, and he's able to prove it in this film. Now, I really think, first of all, I'll say this movie really surprised me. It actually kind of blew me away. And I actually prefer it to the original. And I really, really like the original. So, if that's any kind of clue on what I think of this film, I wasn't sure at first because it had some of the editing and filming that bothers me in TV movies, but it was just in the beginning and it was done as a certain dream-like, he was having like a dream within a dream. So I kind of get why they filmed it that way. It's not something I like in film myself, but it was like very short, and that kind of had me worried at first. All in all, this is a fantastic film, and I definitely recommend it. And these films are something that we want to spotlight, and maybe people really don't know what they're missing. Remember, guys, physical media matters, and until next time, peace.